Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about upcoming book releases from July to December of this year. I'm going to talk about the releases that I'm most excited for, and there are some really good ones on this list. There are actually a lot of books that are going to be releasing between July and December that I'm very excited about. I feel like September especially had the most releases that I'm excited about. So majority of the books I'm going to talk about in this video are either romance, fantasy, or romantasy because those are my favorite genres. But I think I do have like one thriller mystery on here. Okay, let's get started with July. I actually only have one book for July. I hope I'm not forgetting any. But The Romance Revival by Christina Lauren is coming out on July 14th. It's been kind of a while since I read a Christina Lauren book, but I have enjoyed all of their books that I've read before, so I am excited for this one. Based on the cover of the book, it looks like it's gonna be kind of summery, so I think I'm gonna have to pick it up immediately. Also, for this video, I think I'm going to be reading the blurb for a lot of the books because I obviously haven't read them, so I don't really know what they're about. And then also some of the books in this video, I just like love the author so much that I'm excited for the book, but I haven't even read the blurb yet. So we're gonna read some of these together for the first time too, which is kind of fun. You'll see my reaction, I guess. So let's read the blurb for The Romance Revival. 3 years ago, Emery Finch did something completely out of character. She got married to Luca, the impossibly charming landscaper she met on one blistering night in Vegas who made her laugh, made her dance, made her feel. But now, Emery is consumed by her top secret job of missing dinners, forgetting anniversaries, and promising herself Luca will understand once her cutting edge research comes to light. Until the unthinkable happens. A tragic accident takes Luca from her. Desperate not to lose him, Emery breaks every rule to bring him back, and Luca would probably thank her for it if only he could remember her. Their first kiss, their sunny Sundays at the beach, the life they built together, all of it is gone. It may be a miracle of science, but for Emery, it's her one shot at a second chance, and this time she won't waste it, because true love is always worth reviving. Okay, literally I hadn't read that blurb until now, I'm gonna be so honest. That sounds really interesting though. I'm really excited about this book, actually. I'm like even more excited now. And yeah, in the genres, it actually does say summer, so this is gonna be a summer read for me this year. It has to be. So like I said, I only had one book for July, so now we're moving on to August. And the first book I'm going to talk about for August is The Lion in the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent, which releases August 4th. This is book 5 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and I am one book behind, so I'm going to need to read that one as soon as possible before this book comes out, hopefully. I can't read the blurb for this one because I don't want to spoil the series for anyone, but I will say I really do like the series, and so this definitely is a book that I'm really excited to read. Book number 4 is The Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk, which I have not read yet, but it has been on my priority TBR, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. I don't know what to say. I will say I think I preferred the books at the beginning of the series more than the more recent ones, but it is definitely a series that I want to continue, and so yeah, I need to read book 4 before book 5 comes out. We'll see if that happens. Also releasing August 4th is The Unknown by Riley Sager. This is the one thriller mystery book I have on this list. I read Home Before Dark by Riley Sager and I really liked it. And I have a bunch of other of his books on my TBR that I haven't got to yet, but I thought I would talk about this one in this video because it is a release I'm excited about. I love the cover, and the description of the book sounds really interesting. I am going to read the blurb, but it's kind of long, so if you don't want to hear it, then you can skip a little bit of this video. But I do want to read it because it's super interesting. In 1926, 5 women disappeared from a remote island in Vermont. Now, 100 years later, it's happening again. Struggling actress Maren Keene is shocked when she lands a role in a major motion picture about the unsolved mystery of New Avalon, an island on sprawling Lake Faraday in Vermont. She's even more surprised when she learns that the role requires a weekend-long research trip to that very spot. Because New Avalon isn't your ordinary island. A century ago, it was a commune for spiritual mediums until they all vanished in 1926. The only trace of them was 5 dresses hanging from the branches of an old oak tree in the middle of the island, one for each missing woman. Some locals say they simply left, others think they were murdered. But the prevailing opinion, thanks to a diary left behind by one of the vanished, a young woman named Daisy Rue, is that a seance gone wrong conjured something supernatural that took them all one by one. Not long after arriving, Maren and her castmates, including legendary actress Violet Wright and white-hot director Ronan Peters, begin to realize all is not right with New Avalon. They hear strange noises in the night and notice mysterious symbols left behind by the island's previous occupants. And after a sudden health emergency leaves Marin, Ronan, and the other actors stranded on the island, the disappearances begin again. Is it the work of someone trying to derail the movie, or is the island's alleged supernatural past catching up with the present? As fear and suspicion mount, Marin turns to Daisy's diary, hoping it holds the key to figuring out what really happened to the women of New Avalon and how to keep the island's terrible history from repeating itself. Okay, I know that was kind of long, but guys, doesn't that sound so interesting? That plot is just so interesting and it makes me really curious. I'm very excited for this release. And then we have a third book releasing on August 4th that I'm also excited about, and it is Embrace, which is the fourth book in the Off the Ice series. The series as a whole, I have enjoyed. My ratings were kind of like all over the place. I rated the first book 4 stars, the second book 3 stars, and then the third book 5 stars. So yeah, my ratings are like all over the place for this series, but I am really excited for book 4 to release. I actually love Kian from the other books, so I'm really excited that this is going to be his book. And it's also like hockey player with the coach's daughter, which is fun. I'm like really hoping I love this book when it comes out because, like I said, I love Kian and I've been very much anticipating his book. If we're going off of book 3, this is promising because I loved book 3. Like, I gave that book 5 stars and it deserved 5 stars. Like, I just ate it up. So fingers crossed that this one is also a hit for me, but we'll see. Hopefully it is. The last book I'm really excited for that's releasing in August is She Haunts Me Still. I actually found this author on Instagram and like I was seeing all their posts about this book, and the plot is like something I know I would love. It's like fantasy, dark academia in like a theater setting, which I love theater. I love musical theater especially. But yeah, let me read this blurb for you guys. So it says, after surviving a shadowed childhood, Mallory Webb is ready to start fresh as a theater major at her mother's alma mater, a sanatorium turned liberal arts university in Rhode Island. Landing the lead role in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet feels like a dream, until the blood-soaked wraith that caused her mother's death resurfaces after years of quiet. With nothing to go on but cryptic symbols in an old college notebook, Mallory hopes the reason behind her mother's haunting lies somewhere on campus and resolves to find answers before she meets the same fate. She's surprised to make an unexpected ally in Ezra Pierce, the magnetic fourth year directing the play, and takes solace in their undeniable chemistry. But Ezra is a master secret keeper, and it's clear he knows more than he's letting on about Saskia Garin, Mallory's elusive understudy, whose past eerily mirrors her own. When an ancient, bloodthirsty evil calls to collect a bargain that dates back to the New England vampire panic, Mallory, Ezra, and Saskia will have to untangle the tragic ways in which their histories are linked and face the devastating consequences of their own star-crossed love story. Doesn't that sound so interesting? I'm so excited to read this book. So yeah, lots of exciting releases in August. Let's move on to September. Like I said, there are the most in September, so get comfortable. The first book I'm going to talk about for September releases on September 8th, and the book is Taipei Story by R.F. Kuang. I love a good R.F. Kuang book. I always get excited for her releases. I still haven't read Calabasas. That is on my TBR. I need to get to it soon. But yeah, I'm excited for this new release that's coming out in September. I actually have not read the blurb for this one yet. I was saving reading it for filming this video so you guys could get my reaction. So let's read it together. It says, college freshman Lily Chen is off to spend the summer in Taipei at an intensive language program like so many Chinese American students before her, hoping to connect with the culture she inherited but never fully understood. But a promising start quickly unravels. Her classes are grueling, her roommate is driving her insane, and a reckless trip to the hot springs with a guy she barely knows soon has her classmates viciously gossiping. She feels adrift, a foreigner in a country she thought would feel like home. Then, shocking news, Lily's grandfather has passed away. The loss forces her to grapple with now unanswerable questions about her family history. As Lily grieves, she's drawn into a journey of self-discovery, piecing together memories, stories, and silences over a series of hilarious and devastating attempts at connection. Okay, I'm actually really intrigued by that. I love that it's a story of self-discovery and her trying to uncover things about her past and her culture. The genres listed are fiction, contemporary, literary fiction, fantasy, adult, romance, summer, Asian literature. So yeah, I'm excited for this. Literally, this video is just reminding me of all the books on my TBR that I need to read ASAP. So I actually have 2 books to talk about that are releasing September 15th. The first one I'm going to talk about is Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo. This is the 3rd book in the Alex Stern series. The first book is called Ninth House. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I read Ninth House last year and I didn't love it as much as I was hoping to, but I'm intrigued enough to continue the series. So I do need to read book 2 before reading book 3 that's coming out in September. Hopefully I get to that at some point. It's not like super high on my priority list just because I didn't love the book as much as I wanted to. That being said, I do intend to read book 2 and book 3 at some point in time. So I did want to talk about it in this video. The next one I'm going to talk about, releasing on September 15th though, is one that I'm very, very excited about, and it is Grim Tidings by B.K. Borison. I really loved Ghosted, and so I'm very excited for Grim Tidings. I'll read the blurb really quick. I have read this blurb before, so this is not my first time reaction. But it says, Darcy Moore is tired of death, which would be fine and good if she wasn't a Grim Reaper. Determined to outrun her designation as the villain, Darcy decides she won't be dragging her next assignment to the underworld. She'll be saving him instead. Unfortunately for Darcy, there's a complication in her plan. Guardian Angel Gabriel Atos doesn't tolerate threats to his little corner of the world, and a Grim Reaper showing up to his bar is as deadly as it gets. But when he realizes Darcy is not as she seems, Gabriel must decide if he can trust his growing feelings or hold on to his long-standing grudge. But magic doesn't come without consequences, and the Department of Hauntings and Spirits will eventually come calling for their missing Reaper. It says it's a spooky yet simmering enemies to lovers tale to keep you warm this fall. Doesn't that sound so good? I'm really excited for this book. Hopefully it delivers. Okay, crazy that these next two are both releasing on the same day. These are some of the ones I'm most excited for on this entire list. The first one is Trustfall by Lynn Painter. It releases on September 29th. I genuinely love Lynn Painter's YA books so much. Better Than the Movies is one of my favorite books of all time. I've read it more than once. I love that book. So yeah, this is a very anticipated read for me that's coming out in September. I am very, very excited about it. I will read the blurb for you guys. So it says, Julia is just a small town girl from Nebraska who loves her peaceful life, but when her elderly next door neighbor, who just happens to be a secret multi-millionaire, leaves everything to Julia and her family after his passing, Julia is swept away to live in a historic brownstone in New York City and attend an elite private school for the super rich. It should be a dream come true. Wrong. Julia doesn't fit in at her new school. Worse, she's failing. Enter Damien, the mysterious and handsome tutor who will get Julia back on track. Except Damien has a secret. He is the great nephew of the man who left everything to Julia's family. Damien doesn't buy for a second that the person who was like a father to him would leave his home to strangers, and he's determined to prove it. To uncover the truth, Damien schemes to earn Julia's trust. Not an easy task with Julia unsure about this rich boy with a rebellious personality. But the more time Damien spends with Julia, the more his plan begins to backfire, because he's falling for the enemy, and the enemy is falling for him. As Damien and Julia figure out where they belong, can they see past their differences and act on their feelings, or will the trust Damien has worked so hard to gain fall apart? I'm so excited to read this book. First of all, I love that it takes place in New York City because I love New York City. Second of all, that plot sounds so good. Also, this looks like it's the perfect book to read in fall because, I mean, look at the cover. Like, it definitely gives fall. So yeah, I'm really excited for this book. And then yeah, like I said, I can't believe both of these two books are releasing on the same day. Like, I don't know which one I'm going to read first because they're both the ones I'm incredibly excited for. But this other book releasing September 29th is Cursed City by Kate Golden. If you guys follow my social media, you know I have a bit of an obsession with Half City. Like, I read Half City without having high expectations, but I ended up becoming literally obsessed with it. It was the romance, like the found family, the friend group, like the mystery, all of it. I loved that book so much, and I am so excited to read Cursed City, the sequel. Also, Half City ended on such a big cliffhanger. Like, the second book has to pick up immediately where the last book ended, and so I'm super excited to read this book. I'm not gonna read the blurb for this book because obviously spoilers for book 1, but if you haven't read Half City, you should definitely go check it out and give it a read because it is so good. Okay, we've reached October. I have 2 books to talk about that are releasing in October that I'm super excited about. The first one, which releases on October 6th, is Victorious by V.E. Schwab. This is the 3rd book in the Villains trilogy. I've only read Vicious so far, which is the first book, and I loved it so much. Like, that book is so good. But I heard people didn't really like book 2, so I'm like really scared to read book 2. But now that book 3 is coming out, I think I'm gonna have to give book 2 a read. Let me know in the comments if you have read book 2 of this trilogy and give me your thoughts because I'm really curious. But I think I'm gonna have to read it anyway because of the third book. So, and also V.E. Schwab really knows how to write. Like, I love V.E. Schwab's books so much. So I'm always going to be excited for a V.E. Schwab release. Now this next one is probably the one I am most excited about in this entire video. And that book is ACOTAR 6, which releases on October 27th. I love ACOTAR. I love Sarah J. Maas's books. Throne of Glass is like my favorite series ever. Kingdom of Ash is like my #1 book of all time. I have been waiting for a new ACOTAR book, and I'm very, very excited for this one. I will say I'm also a little scared, because I don't really know what to expect right now from this book. Like, I feel like it should be an Elaine and Azriel book. That is what I would like. But we'll see what happens. Either way, I am very, very excited for this book. Okay, we only have 2 more books to talk about, and they're both releasing in December. So this first one that's releasing in December releases on December 1st, and it is Rising Thunder. This is a prequel to the Scythe trilogy, which is really exciting because I just read the first Scythe book and I really loved it, and I'm really excited to continue the series. So it's fun that I'm gonna have even more content once I catch up. In Scythe, we're living in a world that has conquered death where people don't die. And the prequel, I believe, is going to be exploring what led up to that. So I am really, really excited about it. I am hoping that I can finish the trilogy before December, so that when December comes, I'm ready to read this book. It also appears that this is going to be a new series because on Goodreads it says First Blades #1. So that's exciting. And then the last book I'm really excited about to be released in 2026, unless I missed other books along the way, is The Fires of December by Brandon Sanderson, which releases on December 8th. I feel like I talk about Brandon Sanderson in every video I make, but he is, as I've mentioned before, one of my favorite authors. I will read anything he writes. This book is another Cosmere standalone book, and I will read the blurb for you. In the next Cosmere standalone novel, Hoyd has an epic tale to share. In a forgotten land sustained by colorful rivers of demon blood, a young woman named December learns a devastating plague is on its way. But who will believe her? Against impossible odds, she sets sail up the River Violet to warn the King's Court, determination and wisdom beyond her years burning in her eyes. Along the way, she'll navigate incredulous royal officials, twisted court intrigue, and a roguish count with only her wits and her new friends, a talkative priestess, and a fledgling fashion designer. I'm so excited. I'm literally so excited. Brandon has a way with world building. His worlds are always so unique and interesting, and the magic system is always super interesting. So that's one thing I really love about his books. I need another Brandon Sanderson book in my life. It's been too long since I read one. So those are all the books I'm going to talk about today. I'm very excited for all of these releases. I feel like this year has been so good for new book releases. Again, sorry if I forgot or missed some books that people are really excited about. Apologies if I have. I want to know what 2026 book releases you are most excited about, so comment down below if it's one of the ones I talked about in this video, or even if it's not. Comment down below and let me know what books you are excited to read. I feel like it's always so much fun talking about new releases that aren't out yet. I think it's the anticipation of it. There are a lot of books on this list that are going to be given top priority once they are released. I'd say obviously ACOTAR, Cursed City, Trustfall, Fires of December, those are the ones that I'm as soon as they are out, I need to read them. I need them in my hands. That is gonna bring us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you guys in the next video.